you walk a different line that a lot of other producers and musicians don't get to walk, because not only are you, do you produce with your wife and minister with your wife and I mean, MD with your wife, y'all have that dynamic. Can you speak to that dynamic of producer when your wife is also your client sometimes? What is how do y'all navigate that dynamic? I'm pretty sure because visually y'all seem to navigate it and work it well. I've been paying attention for years to how you guys have just progressed throughout every iteration of y'all's journey. 100%. But how speak to that a little bit, because I know there's a lot of people that are building that dynamic, have that dynamic, and how do y'all do it without losing everything in the midst of it? You know what I'm saying? Losing each other.
I think from the very beginning, we both were very intentional about staying within the lines, right?
Yeah.
And so Tasha Cobbs-Leonard is my artist. Tasha's my wife. And so I'm very clear on how I see her when we're having artist, producer, artist, MD conversations.
Yeah.
It's stuff that I would pull rank as a husband and as a man.
Yeah.
Be like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah.
But she the artist.
Yeah.
And I think I had to take myself to a space of, if I wasn't married to her,
Yeah.
and she just paying me to do this and trusting my word, how would I handle this? So there are some times where I give context and I'll say, hey, I think we should do this because of this, and this is the big picture, and you'll make the decision based on what's your context too.
Yeah.
And so as her MD, producer, even business partner, there are clear lines that I'm very conscious and not egotistical about, well, I'm your... I might not even like it. I might totally disagree.
Yeah.
But because I respect the lines that we've created, like it's a contract, right? Like the reason we have contracts is to outline expectations and put everything in black and white so that we can understand who's responsible for what and what this relationship looks like. And we have a proverbial contract when it comes to our business relationship as well as our marriage.
Wow.
And there are decisions that she won't make without me because we're in our personal marriage space.
Yeah.
Now I'm husband. And even as pastor, hey, I got this opportunity to take this gig. I like to talk to my pastor. And sometimes it might be funny, but sometimes she'll be like, Pastor Kenny, I need blah, 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 blah. Because now this defines how the rest of this conversation is going to go. Bae, blah, 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 blah. Or she'll send me a set list. Most of the time I create the set list, but she may feel something sometimes, or she'll say, hey, I don't want to do that song. I want to, okay, cool. Yeah. And it's my job to respond and create the most comfortable space and pull the best out of her for whatever the context is.
Yeah.
And so just that dynamic, I separated and compartmentalized all of those different things. Like, now, you can't deny that they overlap.
Oh, yeah.
So I have certain advantages playing with Tasha that I don't have with other artists because I take in so much information every day about, I know what she looks like when she doesn't like that because she didn't like it over here.
Wow.
I know what she looks like. I know how she stands. I know how she sounds, feels even when these situations come up. So I can tell when she's uncomfortable on stage because I know. And I'm already aware as an MD, but I have even more information.
You got more information.
Because I can tell when she's like in the river. I can tell. So I get more information in every space that we're in, and I just use that to stay within the lines.
Wow.
I think it makes me a better MD for her. It makes me a better husband for her. It makes me a better pastor for her because I have so much information to make decisions from.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I love that he's Kenny or he's
Pastor Kenny.
Bae.
Yeah.
or pastor.
Bae.
Oh,
You like Bae. He said, I
man,
like Bae.
Bae is great. That was, man.
But even so, even for you to speak to on merit, because even y'all have a dynamic, even though Miss Kia Muff, CFO, is not an artist, she still stewards everything else around you. So speak to your dynamic, even as because I think these are things that I think are important, even though we're talking in the line of production and produce. But who you marry matters.
Matters, bro.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
matters.
No matter what you do, who you marry matters. The reason you guys are sitting in this studio, as beautiful and as amazing it is, because of who I marry.
Yep. Yep.
It is a direct result. These things are congruent because of what my wife does upstairs allows me to do what I need to do down here. You know what I'm saying? And so these are things as producers that we don't talk about, because you could be killing it out there in the field, killing it as an arranger, as a producer, and failing at home. And I see this dynamic played so much. It doesn't matter if you get the Grammy, if you get the Stellar, if you win all of the awards, and you come home and there's nobody there to celebrate it with. There's nobody there to be victorious with, to go on trips with, to do all of these things. At the end of the day, there's just nothing but you and your award.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like as producers, as musicians, as creatives, these are conversations that I'm always interested in, because I want people to walk away with all of the value. This is how you get the gig. This is how you be a good producer. This is how you be a better musician. And this is how you be a better person. This is how you be a better husband. This is how you be a better father. Because those things are going to play over into who you are as a producer. It spills over. If you having a bad week at home, and Todd Delaney comes into your space, and your space is a wreck upstairs, it's gonna bleed over into all of that production.
Got that right.
So
You
speak
got
to your
that right.
dynamic and give us some advice.
I've learned, because like I love what Kenny was saying. I mean, you have to know your wife. You have to know what she's able to tolerate and what you need to do more, to help her. So my wife, I need to make sure she's bought into everything that I'm doing, because she has to feel a part of. Because her whole life is connected to me. And I know my wife can get easily offended if she feels like she doesn't have a place.
Yeah.
That's good.
Man, so I have to make sure she has a place in everything that I do. No, she doesn't sing, she doesn't play music, but I sent her to college to get a degree in accounting, so that now she accounts for our company.
Wow.
She feels connected. She sees all the money come in. She pays people. She books for me. She books so she's fully invested into who I am. Because that makes it easier for me to be the producer I am. Like you said something, if she's not happy at home, I can't come down here and be successful.
No.
You said it. If something going on upstairs,
Bro.
Nothing's gonna happen down here.
Bobby
You better get upstairs.
You better get upstairs.
You better get upstairs.
And that's what I'm gonna
fix
do.
that.
Hey, can we cancel this session today?
Right.
Because
I got
they
something
ain't got
that
to know
happened.
what's going on.
Something came up.
That's right.
Something
But I
came
know right now, man, my wife and I are in a season. We've been together over 20 years.
I'm excited to reveal something game-changing for us and for you as producers and musicians. I want to introduce to you Peculiar Sounds version 2. We've introduced standalone mode, allowing you to use it independently from any DAW. You can now blend up to 2 sounds to create rich and complex textures. We added in 2 brand new effects, the Lo-Fizer and the Mod Filter. The Lo-Fizer gives you instant lo-fi vibes with just a button, while the Mod Filter adds dynamic movement and flow to any sound you apply it to. And we also added the innovative new MIDI browser that provides you with hundreds of chord progressions, melodies, and drum loop MIDI files that you can drag straight into your DAW. And as a bonus, V2 now includes Sounds Off the Block expansion for totally free, bringing the total to over 400 patches. So as you can see, Peculiar Sounds V2 is not just an update, it's a revolutionary new plugin. So make sure you check the website right now and you can get your hands on this game-changing plugin.
And so we're now in a season that we are. Thank you, brother.
We don't celebrate that enough.
Man,
bro.
we don't. We don't.
We had 23 years of relationship.
Man.
Wow.
We'll celebrate 20 years of marriage next October.
Man, that's
But
beautiful.
23 years of relationship.
Y'all got some
Yes,
sound
sir.
effects you can add.
I know,
I
we'll
know,
add
add
them in
them
Y'all are
post.
superheroes.
We'll add it in
But
post.
I
no.
know now I'm relearning her and me.
Yeah.
We're in a different place right now.
Oh yeah.
And I have to be intentional with saying, okay, I'm different. My wife, I know I'm different. The call on my life is different.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was.
It
earlier.
wasn't. That wasn't what we were.
We were
20
talking
years ago.
about like 15 years ago when she was pregnant. It's
Yeah.
like things were just so different, and
Yeah.
the way you looked at me was different, and I was like, I felt so convicted. She was telling me that.
Yeah.
You know, but the call on me is different now.
Yeah.
You know, the pull on me, but I have to make sure she's comfortable, man. You know, whatever you need to do, make sure she's first in everything.
That's important.
Make sure she's first. Skip the hype. Because if they don't call you no more, guess who's still gonna climb in that bed with you?
Got that right.
You know what I'm saying? You can be broke, no calls, no more music, but guess who's still with you?
Guess who's still with you?
And so she has to know she's priority.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm falling into some mistakes where she doesn't feel as prioritized in this season.
Yeah.
And I'm just being a little transparent.
Also,
and I'm doing some work right now to catch up.
Yeah.
To build that back with her because I did, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of disconnected a little bit because I got busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't think.
We don't, bro.
You know? And
Tunnel
I'm watching
vision.
my wife respond to me in a way, and I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I got to remember, I'm doing something to make her respond.
Yeah.
You know, and I have to be the man to help her see,
Yeah.
yes, we're both going through a transition right now. You are, me too, but I have to be the one to navigate that thing and make it right.
Say that again.
Come on. I was just about to say the same thing.
Say that again, because as men, I know we got a mixed audience, but as men, I'm gonna talk to the men. It's our responsibility to lead and navigate those seasons.
We have to. It says giving honor to them as the weaker vessel. We are the stronger vessel.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that they're lesser. It doesn't mean God never speaks in lesser than, greater than terms.
No.
He's always like the weaker vessel, meaning that we have physical strength. We have emotional strength.
We have to cover that.
We have to
do. Our
cover that.
main thing, our main responsibility is to cover our wives.
That's the main responsibility.
And leading through those transitions or that.
It's some things that I can't share with her because if I share something that, okay, let's put it this way. Say I'm having a disagreement with the pastor that I serve. Some things I should not tell her because now she's
That's a
going
different
to
dynamic,
not receive the word because she's mad at him because I told her about our spat.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's in how you share with
Or
her.
how you share. You just got to know your spouse.
You got to know
You know what I'm saying? And how to protect her, bro. Like that's so important because they don't realize how much power they have over us.
Oh, bro. No, they control the temperature of the house.
My whole life is off of me, and my wife ain't working.
Bro, I can't.
Man.
I'm
I cannot
totally
do.
off.
You
Bro,
can
I will
forget
be.
it.
I will be down here practicing what am I going to say to her and how I'm going to say it and how I'm going to fix it. And then when she say this, I'm going to say this. We're trying to figure it
You
out.
ain't thinking nothing about gospel
You
producers.
ain't thinking nothing about. I'm like, I done
Forget
threw
this.
everything. I done turned the computer off.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure it out. Okay, how am I going to fix this?
Yep. How you
How am I
going to
going to fix this?
Can I say this though? And this big bro talking, and to everybody, OG, if you will.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's so important to develop character right here, man.
That's so good.
because it's a lot more temptations up here.
Yeah.
It's a lot more of what you like, what you may have never had. It's a lot more people wanting lessons.
Oh, you play?
And like,
Man.
I always say this, get yourself into a healthy community of men
Yes.
that don't normalize you being a hoe.
Yes.
Not just men, people,
People.
women or men. Like, from Big Bro, stop being a hoe.
Yeah.
Stop.
Come on.
And
James.
you're going to have to create an environment that supports that. I'm telling you from experience.
Absolutely.
Like, it's going to help your life when you get better. I heard Jamal Bryant say this, like, my biggest mistake was my first attempt at monogamy was when I got married.
Wow.
My biggest mistake
Should have been doing
was
that.
He
my
should have been
first
being monogamy.
attempt at monogamy was when I got married. And a lot of us are in a single season right now, and we got what we call a roster.
Yeah.
You got you run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Different area codes.
you know, if you touring, it's even. So develop discipline here, so that you don't have to be standing with your spouse in a room full of people that you've been with.
Wow. Whoa. That's heavy.
Because imagine if you standing with your spouse in a room full of people they've been with. That's why that sacrifice is so important there.
Yeah.
You don't want to be looking over your shoulder, checking your comments, trying to make sure somebody ain't drug up a skeleton out of a closet.
Wow.
Didn't you? Yeah, like all of that stuff is important here.
It is.
Man.
So that you can keep your foundation solid here.
Exactly.
And marriage, man, y'all been in 20 years. Marriage in itself is difficult. Relationships,
100%.
they are difficult and rewarding. They require work. They require discernment to know when seasons are changing. And if you don't start developing this discipline here, when your seasons start changing and you start disconnecting, you will be able to tell yourself no, so you don't call the familiar thing. Be like, man, she tripping. Man, he tripping.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? Like all of that stuff requires discipline.
It does.
Which I hate to be a pastor, but it requires the Holy Ghost because discipline is a fruit of the Spirit.
That's right.
Self-control
is a fruit
of the Spirit.
That's right.
I think that's the first one they mentioned.
Without the Holy Ghost,
it's a keeping
love,
power.
long-suffering, temperance, all that stuff. Is self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. Without the Spirit,
you can't.
like
you're
this
not
is
gonna
gospel
have it.
producers, so we assuming we playing gospel music.
Right,
So I
right.
feel safe to say it's not enough to just play the instrument, but you have to have a relationship with the God that you're playing for. Because my wife said this the other week and it hit me. This is the only genre of music where we represent somebody else. When we playing, we not representing Kenny. We not representing Jamel. I almost said your real name. D'Artagnan.
Only the homies can say that one.
Don't roll up on them and say that.
We're not representing John. When we get off the instrument, we still representing him. And without self-control and all of those other, without the Holy Ghost,
Holy Ghost, man.
you can't stay committed without it. You can't love your neighbor without it.
Yeah,
You gotta have it.
and it matters, man.
And I feel like I would be being less of the big bro if I didn't say
Pastor.
it.
You
You
gotta tell them, man. That's important.
Don't walk away from it, man. Don't get on your phone when the sermon is being preached. And hey, everybody's streaming now. Go home and watch
it
as a worshiper. Go home and like you were there, and so you had mixed focus. But like develop your spiritual life because you will need it not to ruin your life, man.
Jeez. What a word.
The doors of the church are open.
I'm telling you.
You can come by letter.
This is why he here. Skip the music talk.
Christian experience.
Yeah.
Candidate for baptism.
You're building men in this conversation, bro.
No,
And
for
I
real.
love
It's
it.
necessary, man.
It's
I got a
encouraging.
huge burden for it because I made a lot of stupid mistakes because of ego, because there were some people, not all, that were in my ear. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made, best lessons I learned though, was because I had some friends in my ear that said, you should do this, you should do this. They did you like they were wrong, but my response is what mattered. And my response ultimately cut me out of a gig. But it taught me a big lesson. And so I feel like it's my responsibility to share, like we're overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. It's my responsibility to share to some people some of my experiences so that it will give them speed. It will give them information.
Wow.
And they don't have to fall into the same holes I fell into because I know what that leads you and I know what it takes to get out of that hole. Some of them I'm still trying to climb out of, you know? And so if I can talk to little bro, little sis and say, hey, look, you can avoid years of pain by just doing this. And protecting yourself. You will never know the pain of this and the pain of regret from this if I can share this experience with you and you can take something.
Yeah.
Yo, thank you for watching that exclusive clip from the Hangout podcast. We drop these on the channel on Wednesdays, and we appreciate you guys for taking out the time and watching this. If you're interested in seeing more of these exclusive interviews that we have, make sure you check out the playlist over here. If you're interested in taking your production, mixing, or whatever to the next level, make sure you hit the links down below in the description. All right, we'll talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out. Holla at your boy.